Right, Argentina take on Croatia in the first of the World Cup semi-finals tonight. The game will see two football icons come face-to-face for perhaps the last time on the world stage. Lionel Messi and Luka Modric, two senior reporters, Rob Dorsett and Geraint Hughes, going head-to-head as well. Let's start with you, Geraint, then. At the Croatia team hotel, they continue to defy expectations, don't they? They're yet again at the business end of a World Cup. How do you defeat a side that always find a way, then, even against the odds?
Yeah, they kind of are that side where you think you have them down, they just come back and they come back even stronger. Let's just look at this World Cup. You know, 2 penalty shootouts. They have prevailed, and they've prevailed by looking calm, by not panicking, and they've made, you know, Japan and Brazil, you know, look as if they were mere bystanders in those penalty shootouts. They just got the better of them psychologically. They also are very, very attuned to when they get to knockout stages of World Cups, to prevailing. You know, eight of the last 9 matches they played in the knockout stages have gone to extra time, so they're used to that. They're used to dealing with fatigue, dealing with exhaustion. How many times this World Cup have there been some really, really hard games, and then you're talking for 1, 2, 3 days after it, the rest and recovery, and then you see the next game where the players probably not at their best, but Croatia just doesn't seem to bother them. They have this will, they have this hugely strong mentality which deals with pressure situations as well. They clearly have got a phenomenal medical and physio staff that deal with sort of the amount of minutes that they play as well, given that they do tend to go into extra time and beyond when they get to the knockout stages. So they're an extremely difficult team, nuggety team to bit. It alludes me to, I don't mean this in any disrespect, but it's like getting a bit of chewing gum stuck on your foot. You just can't get rid of them. They're always there, and they'll always come back. And for Argentina, this is going to be a test unlike they had. The Netherlands game they had pretty much in the bag until those Wout Weghorst equalisers. That was just an incredible occasion. But what they did there, and we have a Croatian that's looking very happy. Here we go, Croatia again. They're very, very. I think they're pretty confident of the fans that are here. Many more Croatians here, by the way, than there were Dutch last Friday. The atmosphere will play a part in the game tonight in terms of for Argentina. It will clearly be an inspirational force of energy, electricity. But as far as that going against the Croatians, I don't think that will have the impact it perhaps had at times on the Netherlands last Friday. The Croatians just going to let it go over their heads. It does not bother them. They seem to have all the bases covered. They've got that class, as we were talking about, with Luka Modric, Ivan Perisic, and this little sprinkling of new young talent as well that is ready to shine here as well for Croatia. Plus they've got mentality, young nation, small nation, just 4 million people, and they love being the underdog as well. All those factors make it such an intriguing tie tonight.
Look, Geraint, whilst you're there still, we've been seeing some strange pictures. I don't know whether this has got any relevance to the World Cup, but we're seeing cars on the water, so we need to show these pictures. What is going on here?
I didn't know. My cameraman turned because I went to him. He's colloquially known as Gagey. We'll just leave it at that. But I said there are Ferraris out on the water, and he then turned and had a look. He said, "My word, you're right." Actually, if you've got time, we're just going to pan around. They're back out again. Qatar is a bizarre place. In many ways, there is obviously some extreme wealth here, but this is taking it to a different level. There's a yellow supercar and a red supercar out on the water. Listen, clearly they've been adapted to be boats. The red one can't seem to get above about 2 or 3 miles an hour, but the yellow one has been herring off at a ridiculous pace. I do hope they haven't got the Croatian players in them. I'm hoping that they're in the hotel behind me getting themselves ready. But yeah, there's been some bizarre things. And I think we showed you some pictures earlier of a more traditional type of maritime boat here in Qatar with all the 4 flags of the semi-finalists: Argentina, France, Morocco and Croatia. I'm not sure whether they're having a race back down into Doha, but they've come back to this bay in the same order, and it looks like Argentina's very much first on that case. So I'm not saying that's an omen. I'll leave that for others to decide. But Argentina have won the boat race here in Qatar. Bizarre things, but I've been here just over a month now, and I'm kind of getting used to bizarre.
Yeah, it looks wonderful, though. That red car looked like a pedalo to me. But look, let's turn our attention to Rob. Argentina beaten 3-0 by Croatia back in 2018, of course, Rob. How much will that play on their minds tonight and possibly impact their approach to the game?
Vicky, I'm completely distracted. I haven't got a clue what Argentina are going to do with all that is happening with Geraint over there and the Croatia side. And by the way, if he's referring to the man that I know, who is his cameraman, colloquially known as Gagey, and he said, "My word, there is boats, cars out there on the water," that is not how Gagey speaks, I can tell you that for one thing. Anyway, let's get back to Argentina. Yeah, look, that result, Lionel Scaloni, the Argentina manager, made very clear in the news conference yesterday, has no bearing on this game as far as he and the players are concerned. He said, revenge isn't on our mind, we're trying to win a World Cup. But it was a hammering, 3-0, as you say, and Luka Modric scored one of the goals of the tournament to sort of twist the knife into Argentina in the group stages. Argentina did still limp through, and then they lost to a team called France in the last 16, and Messi and co went home thoroughly ashamed and got an awful lot of stick from the Argentina fans back home as well. You have to say during that game, Messi was pretty much anonymous. He was almost a passenger. So Croatia did manage to completely nullify the best player in the world back then. And there were 4 players in the starting 11 back then, 4 years ago, in that defeat to Croatia that we expect to be in the starting 11 for Argentina tonight as well. Messi, of course, Acuna, Otamendi and Tagliafico. So what bearing does that have? Will they remember it? Of course they'll remember it. But they think they're in a different place right now, Argentina, as they head towards what they hope will be an historic moment for Lionel Messi, possibly the best player who's ever lived, trying to lift the World Cup trophy for the first time in what is almost certainly his final World Cup. In terms of how the bookies see the tournament and this game, well, Argentina went into the tournament as second favourites. Even now at the semi-final stage, they're still second favourites because most bookmakers have France as slightly ahead of them in terms of the chances of winning the trophy. But Argentina are definitely outstanding favourites to win this game tonight against Croatia, despite the history that we've just been talking about there. So can Messi and co rise to the occasion? Can they beat Croatia and get revenge for that defeat 4 years ago? It's a very different scene here, isn't it, outside the Argentina base than it is to the one where Geraint is. We'll all be heading to the stadium very shortly, both reporters, both sets of teams, and they'll battle it out at the Lusail Stadium for a place in the World Cup final. It really is a juicy one. We can't wait for it.
Yeah, you've set it up beautifully. Thank you, gents, and thank you to the boats on the water.